What is up and what's happening, Auburn fans? Welcome into the 80th edition of Auburn Primetime Live. I'm your host, Blake Lane, and today we are here to talk about the offensive line in 2026 for the Auburn Tigers. What has this coaching staff done in the transfer portal to help this offensive line? How do we feel about it? Do we like it? Um, Look, I know it's the most important group, in my opinion, in Auburn football, right? Not just for this coming up season, but it's been the most important group. And we've been really, really lacking in that department for the past couple of years. And it's been the downfall of Auburn football, for being honest, right? We we haven't had some good ones here lately. So we're going to try to piece one together. Obviously, we're only returning one guy that saw limited time. Everything's scrapped, man. Connor Lew decided to go to the NFL draft. Can't blame him. Can't be mad about it. I think he has a bright future in the NFL playing on Sundays. And him coming off that injury, hopefully that ACL, it's a tough one to get back from, but hopefully he has a great career and he bounces back. And he hopefully gets drafted pretty early, a day two guy, so good luck to him. But then you got Kel Ellis, right? He come in and he 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 stepped in a pivotal part of the season when things weren't going Auburn's way, and Connor went out and Kel come in, and he had to get thrown into the fire. He held his own. There was the Kentucky game where, but he saw action, and so coming into 2026, you're going to see Kel Ellis compete. I think he's going to go to guard, and because of what you have coming in through the transfer portal, and out one of Alex Golish's guys that we're going to talk a little bit about tonight, he is coming over from USF. So you've brought in a couple of pieces from the transfer portal. You're trying to piece together an offensive line. I think that I think that Alex Golish and this staff, and I think they did a really, really solid job. I'm not going to say it was great, or they went out and hammered it. Or I want to see spring ball first. I want to see what it looks like. That's another reason why I'm really excited about him bringing back the traditional spring game, is because I want to see what this offensive line looks like, especially against this DJ Durkin defense. And I want to see the rotations. Who's starting at left tackle, who's starting at right tackle. I want to see who's at center, where's Kel. There's a lot of things that go into this offensive line. So that is one reason why I'm also excited about that spring game. But let's kick it off. We're going to talk about Stanton Ramil first, coming in from Michigan State, coming off an injury. He's from the state of Alabama, played at Thompson High. Really, really experienced, played a lot of college football in his time, but he is coming off an injury. And reading around, there's people from Michigan State that say, we're kind of shaky on him. But this is something that Auburn had to have. You had to have a guy like Stanton Ramil come in and battle for one of those tackle spots, because, like I said, Auburn is depleted. There's nothing there left in that room, really, with returning experience. So I think that's one thing you saw with Alex Golish and this staff was you have to attack guys that have played a lot of college football. They've played in big time conferences, and they've played in really, really big time atmospheres and games in the sport. So a lot of guy that's taken some snaps, Stanton Ramil. Excited to see him, how he bounces back from that injury. That's key, especially at the tackle position. And then Joseph Simmons from JMU, man, he started every game for this playoff team. They won their conference. They made it to the playoffs. Yes, they might have got their teeth kicked in up in Eugene, but I'm going to say this. They went up there, and I'm against the G5 making the playoffs, right? I don't like it. I don't care for it, but they did go up there and they competed, and they were down a lot, like 34-3 at one point, but they never stopped, and JMU kept coming. They kept trying to score with Oregon and get back in the game. But there's obviously there's a depth advantage for Oregon there. And JMU was just a little outclassed. But I'm excited to see Joseph Simmons. I think if I had to throw it on there today, I think he would start at left tackle, especially with Ramil coming off that injury. And the reports seem to think that like Simmons is way more comfortable at left tackle. So excited for those two. Cole Skinner, he was a rotation piece at guard for USF last year in 2025. He comes over. I think he only has one more year of eligibility. Excited to see where he lands. He can play it all. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one that scored the big boy touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, that was the highlight going around with him. So really interested to see where he's going to fall. Cole Best is the one that you're probably the most excited for, though. The 2-year starter at USF. I think he is going to be the starting center, 6'5", 325 pounds. 2 years with Byron Brown, right? And people are wondering, well, is Kel Ellis going to go to center, or where is he going to move to right guard, or what? Like, I think Cole Best, with his chemistry with Byron Brown is taking snaps from him. He's comfortable with Cole Best. I think that is going to be your starting center for 2026. And I would be really, really shocked if it went another way with Alex Golish and this staff. So I really expect Cole Best to be that starting center. Then you got Jacob Strand. I think he was the kid from Oregon State. He's played a lot of tackle, and he'll likely have 2 years left. I got on his Twitter page and did some digging around. I think he said he has 2 more years of eligibility left, but he can move around a little bit. He can kind of go in, out, whatever he needs to do, but he's most comfortable at tackle, I believe. So that's another depth piece, another guy that will be competing for any spot, man. I think this is one thing for Auburn this year is nothing is guaranteed. Everything is wide open, and you can say what you want to, but that's why A-Day is being taken serious this year. That is why it's being taken serious, is because there is not one thing that is open. I mean, there's not one job that is closed. Everything is open. Okay. And so these guys coming in from the portal, they've played college football. They've been in big games and Power Four conferences and G5 teams that have went on to the college football playoff. Like, there's been, these guys from USF, they've played Florida, Miami. Like, these guys are used to being in big time moments. So, and then we got another pickup, TJ Hendrick, 4 years left. He did not appear in a game in 2025. He redshirted at Ole Miss. Another piece, another guy that he can either play guard or he can play tackle. So there's a pattern here with Alex Golish is when they evaluate these guys, they want to see guys who can slide in, who can go out back to tackle. They want to see if they can rotate, if they can find the right mix on that offensive line. I am impressed with that now. And I'm also impressed with he went out and got some 1-year guys, but he also went out and got some multiple year guys that will be returning for 2027. So I think that's another key that you have to look at when he recruits these cats to campus, right? And then Jack Layer, I hope I didn't botch that. I haven't really heard a pronunciation on his name. So if you're in the comments and you get after me about how you say his last name, let me know and I won't mess up again. But he's a 6'5", 300-pound offensive tackle, was out in 2025 with injury. He's from Stanford. And here's another one, has rotated at left tackle, right tackle, and left guard. 18 career starts. I think he's played in like 24 games or something like that, but 18 starts in his college career. So another one right there that is going to be coming in, competing for a job. Can they maneuver this thing around? Can they figure it out, man? I think, like I said, I don't think they like blew it out of the park. I don't think it was like an A+ job, but I think it was a solid job by this staff. And there's a lot of experience coming into this room. They're going to have to piece something together. They're going to have battles, position battles all over this offensive line. Nothing is guaranteed. And I think that is what you want going into 2026. And the hype, there is no massive hype for this team. All right. You're going to have to show us instead of getting on here and talking about we're going 9-3 and 10-2. This offensive line, this is where it starts. If Auburn wants to be great, this group is going to have to come together, and this group is going to have to gel, and they're going to have to protect Byron Brown and these running backs, and they're going to have to move the football. Now, when I did go up and down this group of guys right here, a lot of them were really, really graded high in the run game, right? Run blocking was exceptional. A lot of them had great stats on PFF, but what we're mostly concerned about is pass pro, right? We're concerned about those Byron Brown dropbacks and all the sacks that Auburn gave up in 2025. That is what our focus is on, is about moving the football down the field and not giving up all those negative plays, right? Not giving up the, you gain 7 yards on first down and you're in 2nd and 3, and then all of a sudden, bang, a sack happens and it's 2nd and 13 or 3rd and 13. So that is what we're really looking at, is the negative plays. I've looked at a couple of guys on this list. They were rarely penalized. Not a lot of false starts or holds, or not a lot of QB pressures in this group. So there you go. Like, a big problem with Auburn is, like I said, you pick up 5 on first down, false start, and bang, right there. Like, it's back to 2nd and 10. You wiped out all the success you had on first down. You wiped it out on 2nd down by a false start. And then your coach comes out and says that one of your offensive linemen is deaf and can't hear and all this stuff. That is not what we need in 2026 from the Auburn Tigers, right? So really impressed with what they done. Like I said, you got to show me before I get through the roof and over the mountaintop excited. But I think these guys have potential. I think they can piece something together and they can be successful in 2026. But I also think there's going to be some growing pains to get to that. Okay. Because you're trying to piece something together for this first year, and they're going to have to gel pretty quick. And I'm also excited to see how can these G5 guys adapt to the SEC play. I know they've played SEC teams, but they've played in big time moments. But can they do it week in, week out, and things like that? So I am interested to see that. So ready to get over here in these comments, man. I know it's late. Heck of a weekend for me. Walk out of work Friday, and my tire is sitting on the ground, sitting on the rim when I walk out from work Friday. So had to get that taken care of Friday afternoon. And this weekend I've just been kicking it, getting some rest and watching some NFL playoffs and kicking it with my son and things like that. So busy weekend. Started out a little hectic, but we're here now. Sorry I'm so late, but I'm going to get over here to y'all's comments, man. Mike says, War Damn Eagle, how you doing, my guy? How you doing? Glad to have you in here. Miss Connie says, War Eagle. Thomas, my guy, man. Hey, I'm not going to say it on here, but we're sending out the most prayers for you and family and all that stuff. Just we're here for you, brother. Anytime you need to talk or anything like that, we're here. And our group, I feel like, is stronger than ever. I feel like we're the best of friends, man. I feel like our game day group chat is always here for each other. And same with you, Miss Connie, and everybody that is involved in that game day group chat. We're always going to be there for each other. So Thomas says, War Damn, can't wait till spring to see what our rotation is on the O-line. Huge part of this next season. It all starts at the line of scrimmage, and that's facts. That is facts, man. And that's been Auburn's problem. If we can talk about quarterback play, we can talk about everything else, but the offensive line is where it starts. That is where you win games. We couldn't handle twists last year. We couldn't handle anything. Like, there was times where we just got flat out bull rushed, and we couldn't handle it. We couldn't handle it, especially in on the road environments. We couldn't handle it. We looked flat on the offensive line for a majority of the season. When you play these big time schools like Oklahoma, who has great pass rush, Missouri, who has great pass rush, they got guys coming off the edge, great defensive ends, interior line. Like, those teams create a lot of pressure. You see it. I always like to refer to when I watch Alabama play and they have these, outstanding offensive lines. This year, you watched Oklahoma give them fits. You watched Missouri give them fits and things like that, man. Like that was Auburn in 2025. And heck, it was Auburn for the past 5 years. The offensive line has not been there. And so we struggled in those games. We struggled like in overtime against Missouri. We got beat to death at the point of attack. We got beat to death at the line of scrimmage. And that is why we lost that game. All right. It's just that simple. They bullied us in overtime. And it was embarrassing because it was in Jordan-Hare. It was a game that we should have won, right? It was a game that we should have won. But we got slapped around. Best looks like he was born to play O-line. He does, man. A lot of those USF guys, like I said, I'm interested to see how they can handle it week in and week out. But a lot of those cats look like they're the part, right? Like they look like they're ready for SEC play. And I've always said from the day he was hired, I don't feel like Alex Golish would bring a guy if he didn't feel like they were ready, right? I think that was a big part of his recruiting to Auburn was you're not coming unless I feel like you're ready. Tim says, War Damn Eagle Blake, how we doing? How we doing? Miss Devin, I see you were in here. Thank you so much for being in here. Game day group chat is like the Lean on Me song. That's right, Auburn Dad. That's right, man. We're always here. We're going to continue to be here for each other too, man. That's just how, it's a part of life, and you want to lean on people that are closest to you. I'm beyond excited. This is literally my dream. Oh yeah. Miss Devin. Shout out to Miss Devin, man. Her and her husband with some exciting news and all that stuff that she announced to us today. Kudos to you and your family. Like that's awesome. That's great stuff. Just excited for you. And you've been a day one, Miss Devin. You've been a day one, and you've been here through it all. So I think we're all really happy for you. So I wanted to get on here tonight, highlight these guys. I'm not going to keep you long, but I wanted to talk about these cats and what Alex Golish and our offensive line is getting ready to look like for 2026. I believe, let me check real quick. Yeah, this was 29 minutes ago. This isn't the offensive line, but North Carolina transfer D-line DeAndre Robinson has committed to Oregon. So Auburn felt like they were in the thick of that one. Obviously, Oregon comes in and probably dropped a bag. So that is that's unfortunate. But on the other side of that is we got a safety today in Jack Luttrell. I followed him for years. I never thought he would end up at Auburn, but he did. I'm excited about that. We'll talk about the DB room. I'll probably get on here. I won't get on here tomorrow night because the national championship game. We're having a little cookout tomorrow night to watch the Natty. So I'll be back Tuesday night. We'll talk about safeties and DBs and all that good stuff. Some more portal additions, and we'll hammer that home. But like we said, we're excited. We're ready for A-Day. I love this move, and I think the Auburn fans love this move. And we're going to actually get to see some real deal football, some real deal stuff from Alex Golish and this staff and this football team. So get excited about that. And we got right here, go Hoosiers from Auburn Dad. I'll tell y'all this, unfortunately, I'm pulling for Miami. And the reason I'm doing that is because about 3 weeks into the season, I said, hey, Miami is going to win the national championship. And I put that on Facebook and I got laughed at. And they told me that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, yada, yada, yada. And I said, hey, look, that defense is the best Miami defense I've seen in 25 years. So they're for real. And that is why I am pulling for the Miami Hurricanes. I want to see them win. And I would also like to see Carson Beck go out on top. He left Georgia They kind of threw some shade on him as he was walking out the door and all that good stuff. Where did you get your hat from, Blake? War Damn Eagle, by the way. War Damn Eagle. I got this hat from Toomers. All right. I got this hat from Toomers. I walked inside to get me some lemonade. I believe I was up there for a baseball game. I believe. Yeah. I was up there for a baseball game. I walked in and it was like one of the first hats that I saw. It was at Toomers. And I was like, hey, I gotta have that. So what we got here. Okay, Tim, man, big shout out right here. Hey, my guy, congrats. Congrats. That's awesome. We love to see it. Look, I love to see all the success of the chat. I'm super proud of each and every one of you. You support me, so I'm going to support you. I'm going to give you all the praise, just like y'all do me, man. Like I'm really excited about everything that's happening in this group, in this chat. Y'all are great people, man. War Damn Eagle to every single one of you. And I think there's going to be some great baseball content coming too, by the way. Just wanted to let y'all know that. I'm about to kick that off. I'm super excited about baseball season. I am really excited about this team. I'm hearing great things about pitching. I think the offense is going to be absolutely electric, which I don't think that's what we really worry about with Auburn baseball. And shout out to the basketball team. All right. I know it hasn't been great, but you got a hard fought win, all right, over the weekend. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the means. It wasn't great, all right. Nothing to brag about, but it was the game that you had to have in order to keep your tournament hopes alive, and you got it done. And shout out to Jovic, man. A guy that has worked his tail off, a guy that has continuously gotten better, and he's still young, man. He's still got a lot of life left with this Auburn basketball program. So there is still time to get better. Now we got to do it quick, but there's still time to grow right now. And Tahad Pettiford gotta get better, man. Got to get back to last year's form, but there's still opportunity in front of in front of Auburn basketball. William, man, appreciate you for coming a YouTube member, man. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I'm telling y'all, there's going to be some exciting times coming up here on the plains here shortly. Baseball, like I said, A-Day. And we got a new football coach, man. Like a guy he's traveling the state. You see him on Twitter making his rounds, like getting into high schools and saying, hey, like, I'm the new head football coach at Auburn. That's got to excite you. It's got to get you going. And he's putting in the effort. And I think he wants to be great, and he wants to be great early. And so I'm super excited. And let me touch this one first before I get out of here. What chance do you give the Broncos without Bo? Was really tough hearing he got hurt. Absolutely brutal. But I'll tell you what, for all the people who get in here and give me crap about Bo, all right, he broke his ankle and still played 2 snaps after he broke his ankle, and then threw a ball 30 yards down the field, all right, to get a PI and to set the Broncos up to go to the AFC Championship game. Tough as nails, man. Tough as nails. A dude that they didn't think he was going to be worth crap in the NFL. Honestly, they didn't. And he went to Sean Payton. He's blossomed. He's been great. It sucks to see him get hurt. I wish there was a way he could play, but obviously they think that it's over. And you could tell everybody's like, oh, he doesn't look like he's hurt. When you go back and watch it, man, he's favoring that leg. And then Tracy Wolfson posted a picture of him not even putting weight on that leg during their interview, and she knew something was wrong. So I hate to see him go out like that, but they have a very capable backup with Jarrett Stidham. Now, it's at home in Mile High, so we know the elevation is going to play a little factor. You saw it with the Bills, man. I don't know if y'all focused on Josh Allen, but if you saw him in the third and fourth quarter, he was sucking wind, man. Like you could see him in the huddle, and he was just sitting there like, and I was like, man, he's gassed. I was like he shook. I mean, they're all wearing oxygen masks over on the sideline. It plays a major factor, but I think it's going to be a close game. But I think the New England Patriots are rolling right now. I think Drake May is playing really good football. I know today was kind of sloppy, but that defense over there in New England is elite. And shout out to Carlton Davis. He made some big plays today. All big Auburn guys. So uh, you know, I want to see the Broncos win. I want to see them advance to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be hard to watch without Bo, man. I hate that he went out like that, and I hate it had to be like that. But I know he's going to bounce back, and he'll come back next year, and they'll be just as good. And they got something special in Denver with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. They just need to add a dang running back. All right, get a legitimate running back who can where they don't have to run, QB run. And I thought that was a terrible play call to begin with, where he broke his ankle, but it is what it is. Sean Payton, he's a genius at football, and that's what he felt like. So it happens. It's just a crazy sport, gladiator sport, and injuries happen. So I think the New England Patriots win the game. I think they move on to the Super Bowl. I think they end up playing. Oh man, if Sam Darnold's okay, I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and I think the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I think the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I think they got a two-headed monster at running back. They got Sam Darnold, who's playing great football. Their defense is absolutely suffocating. I think the Seattle Seahawks are in form right now, and I think they're going to win it. But I would love to see Matt Stafford go out. The old man just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. That's awesome for him. They got it done. I thought him and Caleb Williams had a heck of a game tonight. That was back and forth. Great stuff, man. The NFL playoffs have been spectacular. Really, really down to the wire finishes. But yeah, so I'll catch y'all Tuesday night, man. Enjoy tomorrow night. It's the last college football game of the season, 2025. It wasn't great for the Auburn Tigers, but it was a special season. A lot of great games, a lot of great football, man. And we're not going to slow down the college football talk at all. You can find it right here at Auburn Primetime Live. I appreciate y'all, and I will see y'all Tuesday night. War Damn Eagle, I am out.